A very everyone here. It is Samina Barodwala, the passionate storyteller and a soft skill trainer. I'm here today to have an interactive session with all of you so that we enjoy and we learn together. I hope you will like it. And if I may know the participants, because I can only see myself. So if you all can just introduce yourself in a brief this intro, I would love it. Hello.
Yeah, I am Sanju.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Naveen. I'm from Bangalore.
Okay.
I'm Kailash Bhartia from Bombay.
Oh, good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, Samina ji. I'm Mukul from Mumbai.
Okay. Welcome, Mukul. Shivani, are you there?
Samina, where are you located?
So I'm in Mumbai and
Okay.
I'm the south. Yeah.
South Mumbai.
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you?
I'm in Navi Mumbai.
Okay. Perfect.
So you hold storytelling sessions in the city?
Yeah. I hold storytelling and book reading at my
Kitab Mahal?
office. It's Fort area.
Fort area. Kitab Mahal. No?
Pardon?
At Kitab Mahal?
No. It's my office, which is near Kitab Khana, but not Kitab Khana.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here. I hope if you all can start your cameras also, it would be lovely to see each other and see the expression and even enjoy the session along with you. Let's make it very interactive and fun. I will not stop anyone from speaking, but you can raise your hands if I'm speaking. And once I finish, you can take over. So a very warm welcome again to everyone here. I am, as I said, a storyteller, soft skill trainer, communication trainer, and a creative and a writer. So, and I take up creative writing courses. What I want, for all of us is at whatever age we are, that to enjoy this session in the sense of making it a part of our daily ritual. And how could we do that? So first, we'll come to that, but let us first start with how stories started or evolved. So we go back to the ages and when, the evolution was just starting, when we called it the Stone Age and so what do you think, how were they living and what was their modus operandi? Anyone?
They wrote on walls,
Yeah.
sketch stories on walls and pictures.
Okay. What
The
else?
oral tradition of telling stories came about.
Yes. It started first from oral tradition, from word of mouth, from generation to generation. And then it came on to the exact this of writing on paper mache, on walls of the caves and, whatever they could lay their hand on stones and everywhere. And that was the beginning of writing after the oral tradition of storytelling, which passed from generation. We know that many words and many ideas were lost in that translation because once we know we play that game also, whispering game. And in that also we see what we started from. And after everyone's take on that. The last person says something entirely different. So as we know, it gets lost, and that is why the writing habit is very good. And I urge everyone, that as we write our journal or our affirmations every day, if only we could write these stories, even in a simple way, just as a point wise or just as a rough draft and lots of other things, it would really make our life very interesting, lively, and beautiful. Why? You know why it will make your life interesting and lively? Anyone?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Yeah, if we write down our stories, on a daily basis or even just in point form or in rough draft, how is it going to help us and how and why?
But
So
I'm
yeah,
sure this is fun.
one is, in a one way it's an inner flow that gets captured, because many times I don't remember it later, and in that moment of inspiration it comes to me, and if I capture it, then it's there with me. I think that's one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Even that, and from this idea that somebody has told us a story, or we have read, or we have listened to someone's narration of an experience, even that becomes a story, the story of their life. We don't exactly name the person the same, but we can change the names and the circumstances to not make it a very direct approach and hurt the person. But we can always, and we can add elements to it. That person is not going to say, why did you add or delete? So that becomes your imagination that is coming into your play, the creative part of your brain, and the inspirational, quotes and ideas and doodling and drawing and many, many things, different words, vocab. And it's such a lively and interesting way, that whenever we hear a story, I do that. And when I hear also one, as we said, we forget, some parts of it we forget. And we wonder, what was it that I liked in this story so much? So even if we have written it down as in a rough draft, we can go over it and we can recollect and at the same time reorganize and reframe the story also in a different way. So that same story can be construed and constructed in many different ways. Do you agree?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a fun process, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, I'm sure.
Yes. And I think Mr. Anmol, if I'm not mistaken, had attended my storytelling session. Right, Mr. Anmol?
Anand
Anand,
Tendulkar. Yeah,
sorry.
no
Yeah,
problem. Yeah.
yeah. You had attended, right?
Yes, yes,
Ah. So he was there and asked him what the fun was.
yes,
So
absolutely.
all, it's a real world of fascination. And why I call that? Because see, as we said, how stories came down, from centuries and from immemorial times, and we have this Vasco da Gama discovering, or Columbus, or whatever stories were about Ram, Sita. You think we are going to forget it?
No.
No, it remains etched in our memories, and it's so beautifully etched that we don't have to learn by rote what we did in school or what our students do today. They learn by rote and then they reproduce in the paper just to get the marks and pass and go on to the next class. But I think that's not the agenda. The agenda is that, anything that you do in life, if you can only make it fun, interesting, and you involve yourself in it, that is the best part, how it can give you so many moments of joy and inspiration, whereas we all are in the search of happiness today.
Yeah.
But happiness, yeah, as we know, it's within and not outside, but we search it outside. Now we have come to know that, okay, it's not the materialistic world or the outside, it's the inner world, but at the same time, I would construe it as, if it's the inner world, that's fine. We are going inwards in ourselves and browsing, or you can say introspecting, and giving time to ourselves and being on the silent mode, and lot of other things which is helping us to be calm and cool. But at the same time, these stories would help us to get so many things, and our mind would trickle on that, in different parts of the day. And we would not be like overthinking our problems. That is another way, I would say, to get rid of our overthinking mind and our anxiety and stress, which I had spoken about last time.
Yes.
And this is one way of, because this is exactly what I do. As I was telling you, how you eliminate anxiety and stress. I'll just take 1 minute for that. And so the different areas of life that we look into, and we make the best of it. And as we, get better at writing, we are also able to write, get it formatted, structured, restructured, edited, and proofread to be published, to be ready for publishing, isn't it? And it will be again a lovely world, because now you're giving your ideas and thoughts to the world and leaving a legacy behind. I think we all are storytellers.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
anyone would say, no, I don't like stories, or I don't know how to write stories, or I can't narrate stories. Anyone here? No one, right?
I feel it's a little difficult to come out with, descriptions and plot
Pardon?
twists.
Come a little louder.
I feel it's little difficult to come up with descriptions and plot twists. Like you read in novels, a lot of description about any scene, and then that's it's very well done, and it's got a lot of descriptive words, and you won't generally get that. I mean, typically be able to come up with all that language in short. I mean, no matter how fluent you are, unless you're a real author, novelist, or something.
May I
And
suggest
Plot
some?
twists in the
I
plot
understand.
tail,
Yeah.
like Jeffrey Archer and all those people, some of them.
May I add something here, Samina ji?
Anand.
You
Yeah, yeah.
know, I agree with you that we are expert storytellers, because if you ask anybody to complain about something that somebody's done to them, in great graphic detail, we explain everything. He came, he did this, and I'll never forgive him. So we have that storytelling within us. When we sit down and say, now I'm doing storytelling like a job or a task, then maybe we cramp ourselves down. But inherently, when we gossip, it's part of our nature to keep talking. And many of us have the gift of doing it in graphic detail. We have word pictures and we can make it very colorful. But all of us with experience, we can learn, because I was doing it as a part of my job as a life coach and corporate, facilitator, storytelling. That was my job description, actually. Corporate storyteller is what I called myself, because most of the teaching was through stories. Yeah. So I think we are all great storytellers.
Exactly. Because see, we all carry stories within us, as he said. It may
Yes.
be sad stories and it may be happy stories. But we like always dwell on the negative part. And so, as he said, we keep on describing how that person hurt you. And I was so pained and despaired. I was depressed, and I will never forget and forgive him. And that's how life goes on. But later, that same thing becomes a minuscule. And why would you think it becomes a minuscule? Because you realize, that you gave it so much importance,
Yeah.
whereas you could have looked at it in a different way, a different perception to the whole thing, and you would have loved it in the sense of how you would have twisted and turned it Like I do that, when I get hurt, I never knew I'm doing it consciously. It was a very unconscious act, on my part, because I always like to solve my own problems. So I thought, it could also, and of course, my family helped me. I will not say I did it alone, but they told me, why don't you look at it this way? A different perception they showed me. And I said, yeah, you're right. And then after when they showed me, even my mind started opening up. And I felt, oh wow, yes, it could be that way or this way. Then I found out 4, 5 answers to the same problem when they showed me only one. So the mind is so strong and sharp that, whatever you start with, and you feel I'm not good, I'm not creative, I'm not a great storyteller. And as Sanju said, maybe the words we lack, or we only look at the awesomeness of other storytellers. But they also were not born in one day, Sanju. It's like we all, as I said, evolve over time. And if our English is good, we have the vocab at our disposal. If our language, whichever language, is not good, we polish it up by, learning new words and vocab. And that exactly is my space in this world, I feel. Because when I take up book reading, it's not just book reading in the simple sense of going with the words written in the book. It is rather that, each word that is written there, I construe it as, which vocab I can use here instead of this. How would I uh, look at the story and change it? How, would I write it this way or not? Or, you will get some, when you try and dissect it, you will get so many points. We are not here to judge anyone, but it is for our own betterment that we are doing it. And that really brings out the spark in our life. Now, as he said, Mr. Anand said about the corporate world. And that is why my topic today is why stories are the mainstay of today. So anyone can tell me before I embark on it that why is it that stories are so important in today's world? Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Anand. Yeah.
many reasons. Number one, I feel is because stories speak to the heart and not to the head. So they are much more powerful than concepts because they really you can internalize them better. Number
Mm.
number two is they paint a visual picture in front of you, and we remember pictures more than just words. So if we paint word pictures, they're very easy to remember. And number three, we've grown up listening to grandma stories and stories from our elders. So we love story. In fact, Ramayana, Mahabharata, our whole culture is a collection of stories. They passed on from generation to generation. So we as human beings, we lap it up. We love stories and we never forget them because we may forget an equation or some diagram or something, but we'll never forget the story because it's very easy to remember because it's in our hearts.
Exactly. So each teacher, who's exceptionally good, will, whichever age children she's teaching, it could be the second standard or it could be a postgraduate person, as he said in corporates. We all use story to convey the idea, what we are trying to say. And if you said in a very technical and scientific way, we tend to forget it, or it becomes too much for our mind to absorb, and we get bored and tired. But that same thing, if we, invert it into a story and tell it with our words and vocab, with our style and structuring of the sentences, it becomes so much fun because it's coming straight from the heart. There is no fakeness, there is no artificiality. And basically, we all like something that's natural and original. So, that is one thing I have seen, that why stories from the heart and what we, it's not necessary. Now, you tell me, Sanju, or anybody here, which are the stories that you remember from your childhood?
Yeah, I remember one my grandmother used to tell me. Uh,
Ah.
that, it was on the importance of not being lazy and not procrastinating. He's saying that if the lions, so she used to tell it in Marathi, our mother tongue, that if the lion, king of the jungle, would just sleep and sleep, then he would not get his food, and he would, he would be very weak. So he's got the capability as a lion, but he has to actually wake up, he has to run after his prey, he has to do that job. So unless we actually act, no matter how much power we have and what skills we have, we got to actually act. Otherwise, so the sleeping lion is what I would remember it as, and I yet remember it. Now, in fact, this conversation triggered it. I had not remembered it for a long time, but in the right context, it kind of got awakened. Yeah.
See, we have not come all prepared, but we do know something like how it triggers our imagination, and sometimes we recall these stories at a click of a finger, and we remember, oh, how did I remember this? It was totally not in my arena of thoughts. So again, like, I will tell you simple things which we did in pre-primary, like, the thirsty crow, right? Or
Yeah.
the tortoise and the rabbit's race,
Yeah.
Cinderella.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I couldn't catch what you said just now.
I said we remember those stories so vividly, which we read or were told in childhood,
Mm,
in the pre-primary years, like Cinderella Hair, Snow White, The Thirsty Crow, and many others.
yeah.
So of course we are adults, but when I take up a session with the little children, what I do is, I take up this story and they tell me, ma'am, we know it. They all shout, it's fun to see them. And then I said, no, that is the story, but we are going to write it in a different, how, ma'am, in a different way, ma'am. Then I show them, that the thirsty crow, we can twist and all the Cinderella thing that she was in rags. And if somebody doesn't believe in the magic wand, how would we don't like that aspect, supposing, then how do we change it? And so different, same story, but said in a different way, according to what our mind dictates or our mind thought. So as Sanju says, that, yeah, we think these are great novelists and all, that's fine. We respect them and we are in awe of them. But at the same time, that just for fun also, if we take their stories and twist it, and your mind is so powerful, it will give you ideas.
Yeah. You're muted.
Just got a call. And so that's how, we take on from there. So do you want to do a story that's way back, which we enjoyed and which we can't forget, or you want us to take a new story?
I would say new story.
Okay. But why can't we twist that old story into a new form?
Okay.
That'll be fun.
That
That'll be
also.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So it becomes a new story.
Yeah. Good one.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who's
Yeah,
that?
like I heard the hare and the turtle story with a new twist.
Yes. You read it somewhere?
The rabbit and yeah, because the rabbit lost, and then they set a new goal. Both of them decided, okay, now we'll have a river in the middle of the road. I mean, middle of the way that we have to cover. So then the then the turtle was swimming slowly and the rabbit made it very fast. So he won. Now then they decided, okay, let's do another one. The rabbit will sit on top of turtle and we will both win. And they crossed the river very fast together. So the moral of the story is together we can do it.
Yes, very good. So it's not you winning or me winning or he. The concept is, that we all win when we hold our hands and move in unison. We all win. Like you must have heard this compared to this other story about these children in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it,
Children
Mr.
in Africa, they hold hands and they
Yes,
run.
yes,
They run towards the same goal,
yeah.
other
No,
than one running.
the instructor told them that, let's see who comes first. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
and they ran, they all, what he was surprised to see was that they all held hands and
And
they
they all
ran.
ran at the same.
Yeah.
I
And
think
they
it's
reached
called Ubuntu or something like that.
the
Yeah.
world.
I think there's a word
Yes, yes.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, yeah.
What
Ubuntu
is it
means
called?
unity, I think.
Ubuntu. Ubuntu. The-
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Okay.
That's an African name for
That tribe.
collaboration or from me to we kind of.
Okay.
Is that Swahili?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It could be in Swahili. So lots of examples like that.
And that is
Then
how the poor children on the road are sometimes so much more happier than the ones who are sitting in the car
yes.
Yeah.
And the rich ones
because
and
they
the
have
ones.
nothing to lose and they have, they make every moment very precious.
Yeah. Everything is wonderful. Everything is
Everything is
wonderful.
wonderful. I think even as we as kids, when we were simple,
Yeah.
everything was wonderful. Everything was lifelike,
Correct.
larger
Yeah.
than life. And now
Larger than.
we've got so much and we still not happy.
Yes, exactly. That, we didn't, as children, we were so joyous and full of wonder. Each moment was like fun, and we wanted to go to the next moment because we thought that would, and it was more enjoyable than the first moment. And so we found our own distractions and our own way of entertaining ourselves, and yet we were happy. And we never bothered about the clothes, the food, and the money, or we didn't know what was money and the nothing. And that kept us so grounded and innocent.
Yeah.
And now when uh, we cannot capture the whole thing, but as certain parts we can imbibe in our personality even today in our character, that if you want to become pure and really innocent, as I said, we don't worry about our everyday small or big problems, but we take to this task of um, say I want to write a story. I may not be good on the first day, but as I write at least one to two stories per day after my routine is done, I will see that I'm starting to enjoy it, and I am now becoming better in that story crafting.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yes. And also, children don't bother about what other people think. We are
Yes.
always worried about people will laugh at it, they will make fun of me and all that.
So it's such a this world, where the competition just doesn't exist, and there's no award to be won. There is no upper that I'm going to win and my other friends are going to. Nothing of that sort. It's just a pure and blissful world
Yeah.
wherein we know to create it for ourselves.
Yes.
And this is exactly where I started. Now, how does the reading concept join hands with the storytelling? Can anyone tell me why I started the reading club? Anything that you can think of. You don't know what's going in my mind, but just a general idea.
It triggers a lot of ideas. My
Yes.
awareness expands. It, gives me a whole lot of ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, increases your imagination.
Yeah. Right.
And you can
And
you can create your own world. And
okay. Yes. You can create a whole world of fun and fascination, and you can impart that to the world, and the world will be surprised and in awe of you now, because what you have actually done is taken the simple parts and made it into a different story, as I said, and loved it. Like one of my storytelling sessions with children They were not like small children, but from 5th to 12th, 10th. So what we did over there was, they said, as I'm asking you today, I asked them, what are the stories you remember? So they said the story about Jack and the Beanstalk and the one of, that three bears and many others. But then I said, why don't we club these stories? And they asked me, ma'am, how? Now, how can you club these stories? You'll take some parts of this story and with the other story, you'll merge it. And in the merging, of course, we are human beings, so we know where it will give sense, where it will not give sense. And so we discard and pick up and turn. You don't have to use the exact words also, not the same characters also. You change everything within the grasp of your this, story. And you make it into a complete new story, and you are yourself in wonderment of your skill, and you wonder how you did it, but you have done it because you took up the career, you took up the this task of at least venturing into it. Like people, even without venturing into something, even we do it, that no, I can't do this, I'm not good, please don't tell me. And that is exactly, what Mr. Anand said was that recently I realized, that a simple thing like doodles, if we do on a page and write down a short story, just now short stories are so much in vogue, a 4 5 line, and the next page has a completely different story. Or if you want, we can also do amalgamation of the whole thing, like continuing the story in parts, and so when the person starts reading with our doodles and our this till the end, it's one large story that gives a real good picture of fun element, wonderment, and of course good words, so vocab and all, which they are also liking it and make it an interesting by a format and a structuring. So I would urge you all, if you feel, no, I can't do it alone, I need some help, I need some guidance, or I need someone with me, do come for our sessions, which I'm trying to hold even online rather than only offline. And I intend publishing those books because already my books are published. So I know how the entire structure goes. There's nothing rocket science over there. And we would see to it that we get a book published. It could be an anthology of stories, or it could be just one story where we all combine in and give different elements. Like, see, supposing I tell you, let's start, and we start, each of us start giving one line to the story to enlarge it, to enhance it. Like, say, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay. So, how would you see the seven dwarfs? First and foremost, we want to change that dwarfs into another word so that it fits in today's scenario. What would you use the word there?
You can say companions or
Yeah.
partners or something, friends.
Friends. Yeah. Okay. So now we have these seven friends or companions, and she is, left in the jungle. And when she comes and she finds these people, what does she feel when she sees them?
She's very happy because she was lonely earlier and now she's got company. So she's
Yeah,
yeah, she's feeling happy that she's got
yeah,
people, friends around her.
right.
She's
So we
feeling
understand.
supported.
Yeah,
She's feeling supported.
She was just happy that she had friends, whether it were dwarfs or normal human beings, didn't matter.
And nowadays, with this political correctness, you don't say dwarfs because vertically challenged, all that problem comes. Similarly, you don't say Snow White because then white is good and black is bad. So even that can be
Yeah, you
changed.
have to be so careful.
yeah.
Everything has become a issue, that there'll be, yeah.
Could be anything. She could look at them with compassion, or even let's say
With joy.
joy. Joy is one thing. I was thinking of something else. Okay. Anyway, I'll just go with compassion as one thing. As
Yeah,
if they were unhappy or they were in bad shape or something.
Now, if you say friends, you're assuming that they know each other from before. If because friends have a history. If they're just
Yeah.
new people like strangers that she meets, and maybe they're helpful strangers, then she can be grateful to them.
Yes. So it can be construed in so many ways we saw. See, we can do one story with, friends. So then,
Yeah.
as he said, you assume you know them. It may not be you know them thoroughly. These are friends of the past whom you have not been able to interact with more.
Okay.
So you learn certain things about them and you feel, oh, I have lost on the time when I didn't keep in touch with them.
Right.
But now I'm happy that they've come into my life again. So one aspect is we could take that. Second aspect is we take strangers, and strangers we don't trust easily, but because of their generosity or
Yeah.
helpful nature, yeah, we've started
Ni-
liking them. And
Nice.
as we said, yeah, the loneliness that we all feel within. See, it's only when we invite a friend, somebody comes to our home or we go to their homes. It's not
Yeah.
like earlier times when we just walked in someone's house and said, I wanted to give
Yes.
you a surprise, or I was passing by the way and I thought of inquiring about your health. We don't do that anymore. So the surprise element has been lost.
Yes.
Yeah. So bringing this Snow White, where we change the name, what name could we give her?
Red Queen.
We
Yeah.
can call her Red
Red
Queen.
Queen.
Red Queen.
Okay.
We can call her the poor little rich girl.
Okay, but that becomes too long. We want one name, like
Ah,
Brenda, Jennifer, or something like that, and then
okay.
we can type out that this is the poor little rich girl. Why it's like that? Because she is very happy with her own self also. But then after a time, what happens? She starts yearning for friends and companions.
Correct.
And that is when these 7 people trickle into her life. So again, the manifestation of visualization.
Bendy Boo.
Pardon?
Bendy Boo.
We
Yeah,
can have an
right.
Indian name. We can have an Indian name also, no?
Have an Indian name also. Why
Yeah.
not?
Let's have an
Of
Indian.
Gita, or we
Yeah.
can put Divya. Why Divya?
Divya.
Because it's
Divya is nice. Yes. Divya is
yeah,
because divine
right.
and yeah.
Yeah. So we give a name also, which speaks for itself even without us
Yeah.
describing it or telling why. And the reader would love it because that's the
Yeah.
main part of
It also
giving
has
that.
creative possibilities, no? Divya has a lot of creative possibilities in the story
Huh.
because of the name Divya.
So it
Our
could be that.
Diwali.
Can anyone think of any other idea rather than how would those 7 people, those 7 friends or companions walk into her home? With what excuse or with what in what way?
Each of them may be wanting different things, looking for different things in life.
Okay. Like,
Somebody may be very poor and they are looking for help in terms of money, and somebody is looking for so 7 different things that people may be looking for.
okay.
Yeah.
What do the others think here? Is it only things we
They,
want?
they find out that she's a fairy who can grant wishes.
Ah,
Nice.
okay.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the other thing, not all the time people come to ask, people also come to give.
Gay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from the
Yes.
7, yeah, we take out one person who's come as an old friend who remembers her a lot and
Yeah.
just wants to meet up and get more connected with her. The
Yeah.
second one could be, as you said, come to take something,
Yeah.
and she really helpfully, generously gives it without any thought. The third
Yeah.
could be a person who comes to give her a Diwali gift.
Yes.
You
Beautiful.
know, think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have family members, and whom could I gift it to? So I
Yeah.
thought of you, and I've come here with a Diwali gift. Third, fourth could be, what could the fourth one be doing?
A wise person who has words, who has a lot of wisdom and that kind of person.
Yeah, so why would that person come to her? Come to Divya?
To share his wisdom, or he could be very intuitive and he felt an inner calling to come to her. He
Ha,
just
that's
sometimes we
telling.
have that inner voice telling us that, go to Divya kind of thing. So he got
Yes,
that,
yes,
he was following his inner voice in intuition.
right.
Also, if somebody doesn't judge you, just listens to you, you want
Yes.
that to that person.
Ha, a listening ear, as we call a
Or listening.
shoulder
Yeah.
cry
Yeah.
on. The
Somebody is
other,
not going to pass their own judgments. Just listen
yeah,
to you. You just
Yeah.
want somebody to hear you, not
Yeah.
to pass
yeah,
any judgments.
Yeah.
yeah. Not give any judgments, just hear you
Mm.
and listen to you and just be there for you. Very true. So different aspects we did. Now another aspect, this same story with the seven people can be changed in a different way. Can anyone get ideas how before I speak? We have done about this compassionate, the giver, the receiver, and the listener, and the gifting of that person for Diwali and whatever else. A completely different idea. We keep this story, we will enlarge on it in our own ways once the session is over, and we'll come back again to discuss it. And we will have how many people here? 7 or 8? Wow, 11. So we will have 11 to the 22 stories if we each write a different version of the same story. It could be, not necessarily we have to take only Snow White because we discussed this here. We can even take up some other story which fascinates us, and we can bring it on the table along with one story, that same story converted it
Cinderella,
or 3 ways. Yeah, tell me.
Cinderella is another interesting story.
Which?
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Ah, of course. Cinderella, I made them do. So, I eliminated all that pumpkin and all that funny things which made the story, according to me, very long and very boring. And it becomes, when she keeps them on and the pumpkin appears and it turns into a carriage, and then the rabbits are emerging, and all that I found, a little strange, though I do like fiction, but somehow it didn't fit into my brain. So then I did it in a different way, when the children did it in a different way. And we merged the story of Jack and the Beanstalk with Cinderella's story. So in Jack and the Beanstalk, we have seen that the giant lived on a long, large tree where the house is in the clouds at the top of that tree. And one has to climb and climb and climb. And that climb aspect, what does it show us in today's world or in any arena in 19th century, 16th century? What does it show us?
Striving to,
Climbing to these steps of success.
yeah.
And success never comes easily. So it's not just we climb today 2 floors or 4 floors, which we don't even climb, we go by lift. But this is a tree, which has so many steps, 100 or 200 or more, and we have to rest a while after whenever we are tired,
Mm.
and a nice small garden, and each juncture we can put different avenues there. Yeah, like It could be an office at some space. At the first step, it's a garden, a small garden. The third, it could be we are entering into someone's house. We are a stranger there, and the person we knock, they invite us in, and we feel, oh, you live at the top of the tree, and we have tree houses now, as you must have heard in the arena of resorts, right? So that brings that aspect, and the person will connect with it. The person gives him water and food and tea. So that is again kindness and generosity towards any stranger who comes, the known person or the unknown person who comes to our house. So it's our hospitality. The fourth will have something. Yes, Mr. Anand, tell me.
Ma'am, I just got an idea. Just like you
Yeah,
have the game of snakes and ladders, right? So if
right.
we combine that thought of the game of snakes and ladders with our Divya story of
Yeah,
which was originally Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, then some of the dwarfs will serve as ladders for her, because they are in that positive space of giving, and some of them
yeah.
would be snakes. One of them could be a thief also. He's come with the idea of actually stealing. Not just
Stealing.
taking, asking and taking, but actually stealing. So we
Ah,
can intertwine the snakes and ladders thought
ah.
with the Divya story. You know,
Very nice, very nice. Perfect.
yeah,
So it shows the bad part and the good part of people.
yeah,
And it's very relatable to the public. Yes,
yeah,
very true.
yeah.
And I wanted to tell you a story which I've prepared and come. So let me tell it in a short this thing, because when you said about the thief, there was a thief, and he decides one day, oh, this house is empty. So now I must go and steal. Now the owner of the house had the inkling that once I leave the house for my trip or visit wherever I'm going, there will be a thief coming. What if a thief comes to my house? So what he had done, he had placed 1,000 note on the table, which Modi has now eliminated. Sorry to say,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
just connecting, it just came to my mind. And that 1,000 with the glass of water. And there is a note beneath. And the note says, that Thief Sab, I'm sorry, but I'm not at home. What I can offer you, is this glass. Please sit down on my sofa and have this glass of water. It's my way of saying that, you are welcome, or you must be tired after searching my house. And this is the only money that I have. And so rather than you hunting and, disrupting my drawers, which I've so set in a very uh, systematic way, I don't want you to do all that and disturb my household belongings. And so I've kept this 1,000 here. I only have this, and you can take this. And I will also give you some tips. So the opposite building of my house, has on seventh floor the finance minister of India. He lives there. So you can go to him. He has a lot of money. And after you finish the ransacking there, you can go on the 10th floor, where this bureaucrat lives, where he's so money that he's got about 4 to 5 cars. So I think you will get a lot over there too. And then, in the next building, there is this other person, whomever you like, Ambani or lesser than Ambani, and you can take as many jewels and as many household items you want. You do carry a just, what's it called? Sorry, a gunny bag, so that you can put the things in it, and you can leave. And this is the only thing I can, these tips I can give you. The next time you come, I will give you more tips on which houses to ransack. Thank you so much, and bye. So the thief is so, taken aback. At the same time, he likes this person who has written this note and given him 1,000. So instead of that 1,000, he places a 10,000 there, and he says, "This is your fee for, being so kind to me and not judging me as a thief and giving me so many tips of the opposite households, where I will gain much more than 10,000. So 10,000 is a very meager amount I'm giving you, but just as a as a token of thanks I'm giving you. And after I finish those 3 or 4 houses which you have mentioned, I'll come back for more. So next time I can give you 1 lakh instead of 10,000. So that's how the story goes. So as you said, it's the snake and the ladder. When we talk about the thief, the snakes are the thieves, and the ones. So we can talk about this, incorporate this story in a shorter way, not so long, and you get the idea of how each person has his calling. Like all can't be good. So if there are 7 dwarfs, there are 7 steps, seven this, and how those seven, combine to give you the taste of life.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. So this and many other things, as I said, wanted to, but I think the time constraint will not allow us. So I will set up a day asking Shamana ji, and we can have these sessions, as I said, online and offline, and any place that you all can suggest if a fountain is far for you, because I was thinking it's near VT, so it would be good for as a station, walking distance it is from the station, but we can also have at Mahim, Bandra, and I wouldn't come very far. So these are my, yeah, yeah. So this is the story, how, which story you want me to complete? The Divya story, where
Divya
we
with
changed.
snakes and life. Divya with the good and bad flavors of life.
Yes. And we can name it, we can take the heading from different people, and then the best one can be selected. And if we pay for the workshops, a minimal amount, then what we can do, the best person whose ideas we have liked, we can give that person a prize as a gift, not money wise. And then the other person who's given the heading, the title that we have chosen, and from the 7 or the 11 titles that we have, that's the best, and we select that and we gift him something, and so it will be a very wondrous world of enjoying, recreating something inspirational, receiving and giving, so that giving will be the gifting, and many other things, like we could collect some. These are my thoughts. You can also incorporate yours, and for me also new thoughts will keep coming. I just heard a friend telling me yesterday that we are a yoga club, and in that yoga club there are no fees, but each one takes out 100 rupee every month when they meet, and that 100 rupees becomes 1100 or 1500, depending on the how many participants are there. That 1500, they buy food like bread or cereals or whatever, and then they go in these jopar and give it over there. So see, one person every month can't take out 1200 or 1500, but 100 to we can afford, or 200, whatever is the amount. I'm just saying it generally. And then we can go and do, so our social work is done, what we need to give back to society, and we can even tell stories over there to those children and those rack pickers or whoever, where give them a little element of fun and joy along with the gift that we have given them. So it's not just giving and coming back, it's adding an element of joy and fun. So I call this club, the Miraculous Ventures. And why I call it a miracle? Because miracles are created right, left, and center. And these are not the only things. As I said, the more and more I'm going to incorporate. I have lot. There is, as I said, the constraint of time that I cannot go on, and so I need more and more sessions. And those sessions will be for people who are really serious uh, in the sense of creativity, fascination, creating a wonderful people for ourselves and for the world around us. And the joy we will get out of this little thrills of life can be culminated into bigger joys for people. And the more we connect and the more we expand our club, it will be more of fun. And this we could also have it incorporate. I think I'll put it up on the group, my write up. It's a very short write up, but people have loved it. If you have any suggestions, thoughts, any criticism, anything, you please let me know. I'm very open to all the possibilities of life, and only then we can move ahead. And that's how, creativity and inspiration from others, and the going together in this phase, that we are 12 or 15 of us today, but we will come to a number, which is unmatchable, a large number, and we go from strength to strength to try and save the world. We are nobody to save, but whatever little we can do in our sphere, and give an element of fun and joy with wonderment to the people. So you're not just doing an antique or a trick like how a clown does, but this is in a more aspect of intelligence and wisdom and creativity. So we are also using our minds, which are supercomputers, and parents and children would love this. And yeah. Oh, okay, Shabana ji, the time is up and I need to end over here. It's 9 o'clock, and thank you all for being here, such wonderful listeners and interactive with me and giving me the motivation to carry it on. And thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you,
you so
everyone.
much, Samina ji.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry about that. It's 9 o'clock, so I had
I understand, Shabana ji. I lose